Hey guys, it's Lindsay. As you can see, I'm kind of just hanging out on the couch. Just got home. Not feeling real great today. But yeah, I had my first appointment with my surgeon today, which went fine. I'm still scheduled for surgery on December the 18th. I will have my official pre-op appointment with them on December 13th, and then that's where I'll go have all my pre-op testing and all that done. And I still need to have an upper GI, but luckily it's just the one where I swallow the barium stuff and they take the x-rays of it going down. I don't actually have to be put to sleep and have the scoping and all that done. So that's good. One less day that Anthony has to take off to be with me. So, yeah, Dr. Cenero was nice. Didn't really spend a lot of time with him today. I guess it was probably just because it was my consultation visit. But, yeah, he was nice. And all my doctors have recommended him. And, it was a little surprising. I didn't expect him to be such a cowboy. When it gets right down to it, but yeah, he was wearing cowboy boots with the scrubs, so that was interesting. But he seems like a really nice guy, and I've heard just really good things about him. And so I spent a longer amount of time with the bariatric coordinator. She's the one that's got to get all my letters of approval and do all that stuff. She'll have to get my clearance letter from my cardiologist. She'll have to get a clearance letter from my pulmonologist. She'll have to get the letter from the Choctaw Nation Bariatric Program. And then she'll have to get the official insurance approval. But she's like, you completed the program, so you'll be approved. Which is a load off of my mind. And yeah, she went over all the information with me about the liquid diet and then what to expect after surgery, and then moving on to soft foods after surgery and how I need to introduce those slowly, and if it upsets my stomach, I need to go back to liquids for a little while and then try a different food, and then if those do okay, try another food. If that does okay, try another food, and then maybe eventually go back to those foods that don't settle with me very well. But that's going to be a ways out. So, at least a month away from when I actually have my surgery. I'll be on liquids for 5 weeks total. And, sorry, my hand's getting in the way. I don't know where to put it. Where do I put my hand? Okay. Yeah, my other hand got tired, so. Anyway, so I did that, and we went over, like, the protein drinks and how I can get the unflavored protein powder and add that to broths and different things like that. They recommended that before surgery, I start trying to get up to like 120 grams of protein a day, because the more protein that you have, the better that you will heal after surgery. And also, you're only going to be getting like 60 to 70, probably just lowballing it at 60 grams of protein a day after surgery, and it's going to be really hard to get that because you're not going to be hungry. And then on top of that, you're going to have to get in your 64 ounces of water, which is going to be really hard, once again, because you're not going to want it. You're not going to be hungry. So that should be an interesting balancing act. Anthony will have to really keep me on track for that. But yeah, everything just seems to be moving along the way it's supposed to be. You know, I thank God that this is finally happening, that I came to this point in my life where I decided enough was enough and decided to do something about it. I am definitely ready to be rid of the weight. I am ready to feel better, and I am so ready to have more energy, because I'm just drained. By the time that I don't have a physically challenging job, but it's very mentally challenging, and it can be very tedious. So by the end of the day, I am just just the limited amount of activity that I have at the office, by the end of the day, I'm just exhausted and I want to do what I did today. I want to come home. I want to put on my nightgown. I want to lay on the couch with my quilt on. I mean, that's all that I have the energy to do by the time I get home. Eventually I'll muster up enough energy to go in and cook dinner, but that's just, it's just where I'm at. So, anyway, don't have a lot more to say, but I just wanted to give a quick update. And, it's going to be here before I know it. Merry Christmas to me, I guess, since it's right before Christmas that I'm doing this. And, at least I have, Thanksgiving as my last big hurrah. But, yeah, it's scary, but it's also exciting, and I'm very nervous about it. It's a big change, and, as far as surgeries go, like Dr. Cenero told me, he was like, I can't tell you that there are no risks because there is no surgery that has zero risk at all. But for the most part, this is one of the least risky surgeries that you can have. It's one of the safest surgeries you can have. Their main concern would be blood clots, things like that, and also leaks in your sleeve. And he did tell me that sometimes those won't show up immediately. It might take 10 to 12 days after surgery, and suddenly you feel like you have the flu, and you might have a racing heartbeat. And if that happens, you could have a leak, and you're supposed to call his office. If you can't get a hold of the office, just go to the emergency room at TMC, and they'll know what to do. Just tell them I'm one of his patients, and they'll know what to do. And I asked him, I was like, well, how often does that actually occur? And he said, typically, like, 1 in every 200 patients will experience a leak. So it's maybe like 0.5% of people that have the surgery will have a leak happen. Just like 0.5%. So it's not super common, but he was like, I do have to tell you it can happen. So hopefully that's not going to happen to me. They did warn me that I'm going to have a lot of gas pain after surgery, and that I can use the Gas-X dissolvable strips. And I guess, sorry about that, I'm trying to balance this with one hand. I guess the next step, I'm going to see my psychiatrist on December 1st, and I'm going to have to talk to him about my medication. Those are, it might sound crazy, but those are the medications that I'm most worried about being able to take. To me, those are the most important medications for me to be able to take. Because if I mentally do not feel well, I'm just out. I have to mentally feel well, because this is a life-changing surgery, and I'm going to be going through a lot of emotions. And I definitely need to make sure that my bipolar depression doesn't bottom out, or my anxiety gets too bad and I start having panic attacks again. And so I'm going to have to see what kind of medication I can get in a liquid form, and what medications I'm going to have to crush up to be able to take. And then it comes the question of, oh, well, if you crush them up, can you take them all together at one time like I already do? Or am I going to have to crush them up one by one? Because if I have to do that, that's going to take me all day to take my medication. Like, I will be finished taking my daytime medication by the time I have to start taking my nighttime medication. So I am going to have to talk to my psychiatrist about my options there. Hopefully, I will be able to just either get as many liquid forms as I can, and then if I have to crush them, hopefully I can just crush them all together and just put them in a spoonful of something and take them. And like I said, it probably sounds crazy that those are the ones I'm most concerned about when I do have to take, metformin for my type 2 diabetes and my Lipitor and my metoprolol for my heart, And I do have to take high blood pressure medication. You know, I have to take all these other medications that are very important. But for me, the ones that I'm most concerned about are for my mental health. Not that the other ones aren't important, but I don't ever want to go back to that place that I was at about a year ago. Yeah, that was not a good place. Don't want to go back there. So definitely want to make sure that, you know, I can take all my medicines and not have any issues. And I also need to find out if taking like narcotic pain medication is going to interact with the medication that I'm on for my anxiety and my bipolar depression. So, yeah, I got to figure that out. And this video is turning out to be a lot longer than I expected. So yeah, I still have some things to figure out, but it will happen. Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm proud that I've made it this far, and I know that the liquid diet is going to be hard. I'm going to start that on the 4th of December, because I have to do it 2 weeks before surgery, and then I'll do that 3 weeks after surgery. And yeah, it's going to be hard, but I think I can make it. It's not really a thinking I can make it. It's I have to do it. I have to make it. So we went over the different things that I can have on that, and I could ultimately have up to 5 protein shakes a day. Like, I like the Premier Protein. I'm already drinking those for breakfast a lot of mornings. But I can have up to 5 of those a day, and it would equal out to about 800 calories, which is all I can have a day. But if I'm going to have other things like broth or you know, anything like that, I have to add in those calories, so I can't have as many of the protein shakes. So I'm probably going to try to be able to get in like 3 a day. They don't fill me up for very long. That's the downside to not having a smaller stomach right now, is protein shakes. They're okay. They get me through maybe 2 hours, and then my stomach is growling and I'm starving. So I have a feeling I'm going to be drinking a lot of broth and having my protein shakes. And then, of course, I can have coffee. I can have tea. And then I don't have to do a clear liquid diet until the day before surgery. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, folks. Very interesting. And those that know me well know that I get very hangry. So everybody in the office, look out. I've already warned them. Probably not going to want to talk to me for that 2-week period. Certainly I will not be in the Christmas spirit. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. And so everybody just say a prayer for Anthony, my dear sweet husband. He's going to have to put up with all this. He's going to have to deal with me and my hangriness for 2 weeks before surgery. And then he's going to have to deal with my emotions. And then he's going to have to